Greetings, friends. So this evening, I wanted to talk to you guys about something that kind of hit me while I was walking the dog this evening. This might be a touchy subject, but I don't mean it to be. The question is there vinyl, like analog and digital shaming going on within the VC? What I mean by that is, now that this whole situation has come up, and we've beaten this like a dead horse, okay, this whole MoFi thing and blah 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 blah. But ever since this has happened, I've noticed a lot of videos where people are kind of pointing and say, I knew it. I knew you couldn't tell that it wasn't digital. I knew you could, those situations. Now, I know sometimes it's done in fun and like a little good ribbing, but some of it I get the feeling is genuine, because I know that a lot of these people were really hardcore about the fact that they could tell that when something was analog and when something was digital. Now, when this information came out that a lot of these records that we thought were analog were digital, it really, put a few people's, panties in a bunch. Let's just put it that way. But I think that's kind of foolish, to be quite honest, because again, when I talked about this before in my other videos, at the end of the day, the only thing that's important is what you enjoy. If you have a record and you discovered that all of a sudden it's a digital source thing and it sounds good and you enjoy it, who cares if it's analog or not? It's something that kind of really bugs me. I don't think it deserves that sort of a attention where people are starting to get called out on it now. We're supposed to be enjoying these records and talking about them amongst each other or with each other, and giving our opinions on it, not saying that your ears are not good. I think it's more important to just talk about what we like about the music and what we enjoy about these albums that come out. Now, again, I was talking before about back in the day when I was working in the studios, how the engineers were so adamant about wanting digital to come in to get rid of the whole analog thing because of the hassle that they felt it caused them in the studio. Now, before I get to that, I want to just talk about something else really quickly. I promise I'll be quick about this. I am a fan of digital. Okay, I'll come right out and say it. I love vinyl as well. I have a huge record collection. But I'm a big fan of CD and Blu-ray audio and DVD 5.1, all those things I'm a huge fan of. I have lots of CDs, lots of deluxe edition stuff, and I love the format. Just to show you a couple of the ones that I have that are, important to me. Now my friend Patrick, the Vinyl Archivist, might laugh that I show this one because this is my least favorite Rush album. This is Presto, and this is an SACD version of the album, which was ironically mastered for SACD by Kevin Gray at Coherent Audio. Now, this is a limited edition. This is only number 569. I don't know how many of these they actually made of these, but sounds great. Sounds fantastic, Here's the CD. Sounds great. I just wish the record was better. That's just my opinion, of course. But the other format that I really got into and started looking around for more of these was the high fidelity pure audio Blu-ray disc releases. And they did one for A Farewell to Kings. If you open it, it has the sort of original Mercury sort of Mercury Records design, like on the vinyl, like the center labels, right? Excuse me. And I have the Signals one as well. I also had the Fly By Night one, but I couldn't find it. I don't know where I put it. I must have been listening to it recently, and maybe it's in another room somewhere in the house. But the big selling point on this, and I'll read it off the back here. I'll just hold it up here for a second so you can see what I'm reading, is that black text on top, which says, and I quote, "With this disc, you are able to hear at home what we hear in the studio. This Blu-ray disc contains all 8 tracks from Signals in high-resolution 96K 24-bit PCM stereo. DTS HD High Master Audio, and Dolby True HD 5.1 surround sound. It is primarily an audio-only disc with basic navigation and song information displayed on the screen. The 96K 24-bit audio is on this disc is 256 times more resolution than a CD, providing greater detail and reproducing the music's full dynamic range from the softest to the loudest sounds. And it also says just make sure that your Blu-ray software firmware is updated on your player, which mine is. And I'll tell you, this one sounds really, really effing good. And this one sounds really good too. This one, you do notice a little bit of tape hiss on here. Just a bit, not a lot. I mean, the great thing about this Blu-ray is it can get rid of a lot of that kind of stuff on there. But because, you know, this is like older analog tape that they probably used, it might have been more audible. Now, what I'm talking about with that, though, is if you remember back in the day when CDs first came out, this is the thing that we were talking about in the studios back in the day, these engineers and stuff, when you're talking about, oh, I can't wait when analog is gone. Here's an old CD I have, Deep Purple, made in Japan. It's really kind of these older pressings of it. Let me see how to open it, see if maybe it'll be recognizable to you. It looks like this. Now on the back, and a lot of these CDs back in the day had this little text blurb here that said, the music on this compact disc was originally recorded on analog equipment. We have attempted to preserve it as closely as possible, the sound of the original recording. Because of the high resolution, however, the compact disc can reveal limitations of the source tape. Now, what do they mean by that? The limitations of the source tape? Well, basically, they're trying to tell you that analog is noisy. You know, it's something that, let's put it this way. When you talk about people who are audiophiles, they always want the best sound, and they want the best this and the best that, the best quality. Well, back in the day, noise was a big issue. That when you heard noise, tape noise and stuff like that, that was not considered good quality. That was considered crap, okay? And when you put on a CD like this, and for all you Rush fans out there too, if you own the two CD disc release Rush Chronicles, put that CD on, skip it to La Villa Strangiato, and turn up their volume on that. That is the most revealing of analog limitation I've ever heard. You know, at the beginning, how it starts with that little classical piece, dun, 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 on classical. Well, it starts like this on the CD. It goes, do, 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 do. Like that. I may be a little exaggerating, but the tape noise is unbelievable on that, just absolutely unbelievable on there. And from that time period along there, like Farewell to Kings, Hemispheres, I don't think it was as bad on 2112, but that time period, the tape was whoa. It showed a lot of limitation. And I remember too when I was mastering and, you know, doing stuff in studios, when we were dumping stuff to 2-track, we were very conscious of that, you know, maybe pulling down the master fader just a touch so that, you know, there isn't as much noise audible in there, you know. Do little tricks like that where you might pull down the master a little bit, maybe pull up the fader here, or ride the faders just to try to get rid of some of this noise, you know. You know, nowadays some of these people think of that as like, you know, that's great, that's the true sound of analog. And you know what, if you like that stuff, great. But back in the day, people really didn't like that. Like engineers and stuff like that, when we were working at day, we couldn't stand that. That's why we were hoping for a medium where when you plug in your amp and you put a microphone in front of it, when you hit a note, ding, you don't hear ding, like it's clean. That's why people like, you know, Donald Fagen and these guys, they did their albums on digital. Dire Straits, they did their albums on digital because they wanted to be able to do soft passages and not have to pay for it later when mixing, you know. Again, you may not agree with me on some of this stuff, and that's fine. But again, getting back to the shaming thing, I don't think that, it's cool. If it's done in fun, then that's great. But, look, your ears can be tricky sometimes. Maybe something that you think sounds analog, may not be, and that's not a thing to be ashamed of. And again, getting back to the analog thing, I know I'm jumping all over the place in this discussion, but that was something I wanted to bring up because I was thinking about that, is how back in the day, a lot of these kind of CDs back in the day had these warnings on there, because you would put a CD in the car, and before the first song would play, you'd already know that you'd have an older sourced album, because you would hear the tape noise. You would hear it in between songs. You would hear even tape, like little bumps and glitches and stuff like that. Analog wasn't the big glorious thing that everybody seems to think it was. Thanks to digital and digital transferring, you can clean up a lot of that now, and it can sound absolutely fantastic. Again, it's all down to taste, and I just wanted to kind of bring that up and just see what you guys think about that. Okay, so I hope you guys are doing well out there, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye for now.